you have something to say to the administrators or communities of these image boards, some recommendations you have, anything you can recommend of all the, I think maybe this English, not the first language here. But you know, the point of the question is being basically, do you have any words of advice or, you know, wisdom to share with people who are kind of you know, in your shoes or aspire to be in your shoes one day? I think I've touched on a little bit. I really think that, I mean, again, I really, really, truly respect people that have kind of tried to forge their own path. And not to say I disrespect people who haven't, but again, I think when you look back on the websites, I mean, two of the ones he listed, Hispa and CrowdChain, are kind of language or culture specific image board spinoffs. In my early example, 420chan, kind of drugs and wrestling and stuff, and Operator for weapons. I think you see the communities that have done well over the years had kind of a very specific purpose for existing that was not, you know, fuck Moot, fuck 4chan. Again, we've seen no less than 4 to 5 of those, and they've all failed. And I know that we're in the midst of one right now. And again, Godspeed. I mean, all the best. I would be happy to be proven wrong if people can break that cycle. But I think truly that it is very toxic to kind of found a community. Yeah, I think it's one thing if it's a parody, but if it's another thing, if again, like the kind of the binding culture, you know, ends up being something that is very kind of negative, and I think people spend too much time obsessing over what, you know, that other website is doing, and you know, how do we be more like them? But not. You know, we don't want to be like them. But what are they doing? And it's like you spend so much time with kind of, you know, 1 or 2 eyes fixed on your kind of quote unquote competition rather than kind of charting your own destiny. And the way that I've kind of stayed sane over the years, and that, you know, I mean, again, I don't use other image boards, and I've never really viewed them as competition because. Again, you know, it's like I don't know what we would be competing for. I mean, you know, if 4chan lost a lot of its traffic, it would be a lot less expensive to host, and we have so many ad impressions that we actually wouldn't lose any. But it's like it's to my benefit to lose traffic in this weird kind of perverse or like inverse way. So so I've never really viewed other, you know, image boards as, you know, being in kind of direct competition, because I mean I don't derive my personal identity from having the largest image board. So I think that, again, it tends to be a lot healthier for, you know, administrators to really focus on kind of catering to their niche, or just figuring out, you know, like, what are we going to do better than anybody else, and really just focusing on that instead of focusing on why are we so much better than 4chan. Because again, one of those has a very positive and kind of like forward kind of looking mentality, and one of them has a very kind of negative and basically backward facing mentality. And when you really do look at the kind of the corpses, you know, that have kind of littered the image board ecosystem over the years, you know, again, I think more often than not that was the case. And, you know, to single out 4chan, you know, I just completely, you know, just never acknowledge. I just decided, I was like, you know, it's not worth my effort to, again, I don't engage in feuds or I just choose not to be a part of that, because again, it's healthy and it's distracting to allow yourself to be caught up. And so I just never, when people are screaming about /new and you know, /RNIK being deleted, I just chose not to be a part of that, you know, conversation. And you know, look at where where it got them. I think, again, it just, you know, after the kind of initial excitement around, you know, hey, we're not 4chan petered out, you know, things didn't go so well. And I know very loosely that I guess STI kind of, you know, wasn't as active, and his users began to hate him, and they hate them. Like, it's incredible. It's like this virtuous cycle where, you know, somebody ends up, you know, being, you know, based God for the first few weeks or months, and then, you know, inevitably make some mistake. And, you know, the image board population being is kind of fickle and again, very quick to the draw as far as typing mean comments, you know, tends to kind of, you know, again, have a very short temper and kind of eviscerate people for those missteps. And, you know, it really just feeds into this really kind of vicious, virtuous cycle whereby, you know, then the founders get alienated and get burnt out, and they realize that, oh, wait a minute, maybe it's not so easy to run large communities, and there's a lot to learn, and it eventually kind of peters out and just becomes this kind of toxic wasteland, and the people who, you know, don't really give a damn end up coming back to 4chan. In the case of 4chan, we added back those boards. So again, you look at 7chan, you look at all the, you know, what is it? There's an invasion chan once or something. I don't know. It's been 11.5 years. Like, I've seen some shit. I've seen this movie repeat itself. And it's not to say, again, you know, 4chan isn't infallible. I'm not infallible. I've made plenty of mistakes over the years. You know, I've been very lucky to make more correct decisions, or just not make. You know, I said this in my XOXO talk a few years ago, but kind of, you know, not fuck up nearly as much as some people seem to think I have, in that people still use 4chan. But anyway, you know, back to the original kind of point is, I think, you know, when I look at, there's a you know, some what they called Pony ML, I can't remember what MLP is, but My Little Pony, I guess image boards have done pretty well. So I mean, there are an assortment of image boards that have kind of done well, but they've really focused on serving a niche that 4chan didn't, and really just really focusing on wizard chains, an example, I guess. Really just focusing on how can we serve this niche? How can we do that better than anybody else? And this is how all healthy companies are running, startups are running. It's how do we solve a problem that people have and do it better than anybody else, instead of how do we spite this other website and end up kind of talking ourselves in circles about how spiteful we are. So so truly, again, and I think that there being more image boards is really for the better in that. I think kind of more of a, and I guess the internet kind of tried that with what was II-chan, or was it Waka-chan, whichever, and the Over-chan, and kind of more of this federation of this kind of collection of image boards whereby no one person kind of controls most of that, although 4chan has historically been that thing, which again isn't to say it'll always be that thing. So maybe it is healthier for the internet where if 4chan ever get shut down for any reason, if there was kind of a stronger group, dozens of popular image boards to take over. But I think part of the reason you don't really see that as much is people go where the traffic is, because that's where the excitement is, that's where the energy is, but also because as it turns out, I mean, the image board market is not that large as it turns out. I mean, it's not. I mean, the number of people that are interested in forums and interest-based communities and honest communities and talking to strangers, as it turns out, that's not a majority of the internet. And so I think that that total number of population will grow over time because it's inevitable, but it's not. We're not talking like a billion people who want to be using a site like 4chan. So so it is kind of a I think kind of a fixed ecosystem in that sense, or it's a very slowly growing. It's not growing nearly as fast as the number of people that are coming onto the internet in every passing month. So so anyway, I think that's my biggest piece of advice. And again, I think allowing yourself to be mired in controversy and distracted is really unhealthy. And that's why throughout all of these kind of quote unquote controversies, I mean, they're very one-sided controversies, because it's just not worth the time and the energy to be a participant in that. And so, for all the people who are upset with me for not really acknowledging, their existence, or and actually, as it turns out, that drives people fucking nuts. Like I ignored STI because he used to just IM. I saved all of his IMs actually because it was amazing. Like he would IM me every time I'd send out a name and just tell me, "Hey, you piece of shit fucker, I fucking hate you. My website's better." But like he would just go on and on and on, and look, for a large part to rile me up and to draw a response. But I just never responded, which, as it turns out, drove him even more nuts. As it does. I think not being acknowledged is, for some people, is wounds them in a way that makes them even angrier. But again, it wasn't, to be angry at somebody, and this is, I wrote a blog post about this too, but it's like, to be mean to somebody takes so much more energy than being nice to somebody, and to be angry takes so much more energy to be happy. It takes so much out of you. And, if I allowed myself to feel that way, then I would have never gotten anything done ever in my entire life. Because it is all consuming. It is, again, such an unhealthy way to live your life. So so again, don't worry, be happy. That's the point of essentially everything I've said today, which is take it easy. There's I think a Miku song about that, or a Tuhu song about that. So let's see. Where's your face? I need fat material. Again, go to ED. All right, guys, we're on the home run here. We've only got an hour left before Google Hangouts kicks me off. I did not expect to be doing this for 8. I kind of actually, deep down, I kind of did expect this, but I didn't think I'd make it a full 8 hours. Let's see. 4113, sell fortune, become a billionaire, make your retirement real. We could throw one hell of a party. Actually, Notch just threw a party in his awesome Beverly Hills mansion. I was not invited. You would think if he used /v to get Minecraft running, I at least could have gotten a little bit of an invite and hung out in his candy room, but apparently not. Let's see. I will have a baller ass candy room if I were to buy $1 million or 90. His one was, I think, $90 million. Let's see.